The soft hum of office chatter echoed through the wide glass halls of Darlington Enterprises, one of New York's top marketing firms. Employees buzzed between cubicles, carrying files and coffee cups, their heels and polished shoes clicking against marble floors. In a tucked-away corner of the 26th floor sat Clara Jennings, a quiet but diligent data analyst who kept her head down and her heart guarded. Clara was not one to stand out. She wore muted tones, often choosing comfort over trend. Her life outside the office was a mystery to most, and she preferred it that way. That is, until her growing belly began to make whispers turn into sneers. She was 5 months pregnant and unmarried. The judgment came quietly at first. A glance too long, a whisper that stopped when she entered the break room. Then came the jokes. Cruel, cutting remarks hidden under the veil of humor. Guess someone didn't believe in birth control, murmured Marissa, one of the marketing execs, loud enough for Clara to hear. Do you think she even knows who the father is? Another chuckled, pretending to sip her coffee as Clara walked by. Clara heard it all, and she said nothing. What they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the father of her child was none other than Nathaniel Cole, the elusive and enigmatic CEO of Darlington Enterprises. Their connection had begun nearly a year ago at a charity gala hosted by the company. Clara had attended only because of a departmental obligation, but somehow found herself seated beside Nathaniel. He had asked her opinion on a marketing strategy, genuinely listened, and then invited her for a dance. There was something in his eyes, not just charm, but warmth, an interest in more than her looks. He had remembered her name the next day. He had remembered her favorite coffee. They began to talk, then to see each other, privately, away from the spotlight. When Clara found out she was pregnant, she hadn't expected a fairy tale. She knew who Nathaniel was, a man burdened with the weight of an empire, expectations, and a board of directors who saw a CEO's image as sacred. She hadn't told him, not because she didn't trust him, but because she didn't want to complicate his world. Her plan had been simple. Keep working, keep quiet, have the baby, and raise it on her own. But the cruelty she endured daily made that strength waver. One afternoon, after a particularly harsh round of taunts in the restroom, Clara retreated to the rooftop garden. She sat under a pergola of ivy, tears falling silently. That's where Nathaniel found her. He wasn't supposed to be there. His schedule was always packed, his appearances always calculated. But that day, he had taken the stairs, craving a moment of silence, and stumbled upon the woman who had haunted his thoughts since the moment she disappeared from his life without a word. Clara. His voice was soft, but startled. She wiped her cheeks quickly and stood. Mr. Cole. I didn't expect anyone up here. He walked closer, eyes fixed on her belly. The realization hit him like a blow to the chest. Is it? She looked away, ashamed. Yes. There was silence. Then the unexpected. Nathaniel knelt before her, resting his palm gently on her bump. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want to be your problem. I didn't want to risk your reputation. He stood and gently took her hand. You and this child are not problems. You're my family. Everything changed after that. The next morning, Clara entered the office as usual. But this time, Nathaniel was waiting at the entrance. He walked her in hand, proudly. The office fell into stunned silence. Good morning, everyone, Nathaniel said, his voice clear and calm. I want to introduce you to someone very important to me, Clara Jennings. She's not only one of our most talented analysts, but also the mother of my child. Whispers turned into shock. Marissa nearly dropped her latte. Let this be a reminder, Nathaniel continued, his gaze sweeping the room, that we never truly know someone's story. And before we judge, we should choose kindness. That day, the world tilted. The shift in the office was gradual. Some colleagues still wore their discomfort like badly tailored suits. But others, those with a heart left to stir, began to see Clara differently. They brought her tea, asked about her due date, offered her chairs in meetings. Clara remained humble. She never flaunted her relationship, nor used it to her advantage. But she let herself bloom. Her soft voice grew stronger, her walk more assured. Months passed. Nathaniel was present for every appointment, every craving, every moment. When Clara went into labor, he held her hand through every contraction. They named the baby Hope. Hope, because that's what Clara had clung to in the silence. Hope, because that's what Nathaniel felt when he found her again. And hope, because that's what their daughter would be, a symbol of resilience, of quiet strength, and of the goodness that still existed in the world. The story of Clara Jennings traveled beyond the walls of Darlington Enterprises. It became a whispered legend, a reminder that everyone is fighting a battle unseen, that kindness costs nothing, and that love, in its purest form, can break through even the harshest judgments. Years later, employees would look at the framed photo in the hallway, Nathaniel, Clara, and Little Hope, and remember. They would remember the girl they mocked, the girl who taught them what it means to be human. The story has been written and is ready for review. Would you like to expand any particular part or adapt it for a specific platform or audience?